All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you all today. While we celebrate the World Tourism Day on the 27th of September, we thought it was apt to have a quick session with all like-minded, all travel professionals from the Skål clubs across India, Asia, all friends in the travel fraternity, in the trade, hoteliers, airlines. We thought of having a quick catch-up on where we are and where we think we're going. So with us today, we have a couple of distinguished panelists. One, we start with Kuldeep Bharati, who is Skål International Mumbai South's president. As you all know, he is the vice president of ITC Hotels and Welcome Hotels. Besides him, we've got a group of really experienced panelists as well. Sunil Chopra is the retired director of Southeast Asia with IATA, and also he used to be he's also an ex-Staffy consultant. Nice to have you on board, Sunil.
Thank you.
We also have Sanjay Rao, who spent a lot of his career in Air India as well as IATA. He's also our MDO in the club. Nice to have you also, Sanjay, on the panel.
Thank you.
And last but not the least is Ritam Saha. He is the manager, passenger and cargo services, India, Nepal, and Bhutan for IATA. So welcome, Ritam, to this show. And
thank you, Thomas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce the topic for today's discussion, which is beyond recovery and new rules. We have heard of, we have experienced the painful part of the first pandemic wave. Then we saw a pickup last winter, and then we again went into the second pandemic. We've been talking all this while about revenge tourism and how we are going to come back. While none of us know the exact route to recovery, we're all hoping and praying that we will see better times in the near future. So that's why it's apt to talk about beyond recovery. What are the new rules of engagement? And I hope the discussion today amongst our esteemed panelists will throw some light in terms of what we need to do if we are from the trade, or if we are an airline, travel agent, a DMC, a hotelier, or any other allied services in the travel and tourism business. So I won't take further time. I would pass the mic to our president, Mr. Kuldeep Bharati, to give his keynote address. Over to you, Kuldeep.
All right, thank you very much, everybody, and thanks, Thomas, for organizing this webinar today, beyond recovery and new rules of the game. As we've been seeing, and what you said just now, I think the future is very uncertain. And though we are celebrating everywhere that things are coming back, and business is improving day by day, but I think I don't know how long it's going to be, because today itself I read about Srinagar has gone into lockdown because there are a number of cases going up over there. So this I think we need to understand that new rules of the game, what we need to do as far as the hospitality industry is concerned. I can tell you about how the lockdowns, the inability to travel, teleworking, social distancing, strict health and safety measures. These are all factors that have influenced our behavior. The interaction with others and our way of viewing life has changed completely. Here are some changing consumer behavior that I believe will have an impact on hospitality, as well as on travel and tourism in general, and that are worth considering. And we all look for ways to respond to the market and positioning ourselves for success. I think first and foremost is very important is the health and safety, which is going to be the topmost thing on everybody's mind. Just now, Vishal was also talking about how difficult it is to do business, though it's booming, but it is we need to take a lot of care. Guests will pay more attention to different security, hygiene, and health procedures that establishments are implementing in order to gain the confidence of consumers. Firms will need to be both transparent and reliable. It cannot happen that you talk something and do not follow that on the shop floor. So as the division, hotels division, we introduced our Reassure program, which is just an example where we are reinforcing our globally acknowledged responsible luxury ethos in collaboration with medical professionals. So we have also tied up with DNV. So this how you need to be very transparent with the guest, and how we need to make sure that they start looking at us as a very trustworthy brand and the organization which walks the talk. Wellness is also going to become very important. More people are going to be thinking more about wellness, not only in terms of wellness in general, but actually it's the mental health and well-being is going to be very, very important here, because people have been working in enclosed environments, so their mental health is going to be very important. So how many of us will be placing special emphasis on wellness and well-being, such as in-house exercises and sports, fresh and organic food, self-care, regular medical checks, and etc. The hotel should be also equipped. Somebody's talking. Somebody knows something. And similarly, I think what is going to happen is how people are going to see the consumption and spending pattern also is going to change over a period of time. And because a lot of unemployment and this was not being doing so well, I think people are going to be very, very conscious as far as spending is concerned. So they're going to, look at every offer, every wherever they want to travel, or whatever they want to do. They want to actually see very, very closely how much to spend and what to spend and how much to save as well. Fourth, what I was thinking that digitalization is going to become very, very important. I think everybody has to become very, very savvy. Because of this lockdown, I think everybody has been doing transactions on digital platforms, whether it is buying, whether it is traveling, whether it is anything, whether it's food or anything. Everybody is going to be. So how are we going to attract people, through this digital transformation to our sites, to our businesses, is also going to be very, very important. Apart from that, remote working is going to stay. And even though when everybody is talking that things are opening up, I think when I talk to friends from other countries, they are still in a lockdown condition. And when I tell them that everything is happening normally in our country, excuse me. Sorry. Sorry. Not been keeping well, so just bear with me, please. So when I talk to people, to friends, and they keep talking about how their country is still not opened up, and when I talk about our country, that it has opened up so much that everything has become normal for the last 3, 4 months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So it has its own pluses and minuses. We never know when we're going to go to the third wave. So this is what I feel is that is going to change the rules of the game. I have a few pointers, but I'm sorry I can't talk at the moment because I've got sorry. I'm going through a tough time for the last 4 days. So sustainability again is going to be a major part what we need to look at. Before the pandemic, sustainability was already a key factor addressed by individuals, companies, and worldwide organizations and United Nations. Going forward, consumer behavior is expected to be more oriented towards reduced and conscious consumption and minimal waste. Sustainable products, responsible luxury, and responsible brands, and eco-friendly policies, ecological products, and environmental concerns will gain greater interest in the future. We as a company had embarked on this journey a decade ago. Our luxury properties embedded sustainable practice in multiple ways and offer unmatched hospitality so the guests can enjoy a luxurious experience with a clear conscience. Beginning at the design stage, each of a hotel adheres to the highest global and national green building standard to ensure that energy, water, and solid waste efficiencies are maximized. So our company is actually, by reducing, reusing, and recycling, we are a zero solid waste company at the moment. Consequences of consumer spending: change in consumer behavior will eventually lead to variation in consumer spending patterns. Consumers will now spend more time comparing with and will take responsible decision and assess what impact the product of or service purchase will have globally. Citizens have stayed longer at home, which has resulted in an increase in the use of the internet and therefore an intensification of transactions made through online shopping, accessibility, exclusive promotions, delivery services, and competitive prices. The ability to compare and high availability are all aspects that attract the consumers. Everything indicates that this mode of consumption and spending will be increasingly common in the future. The changes we have seen over the last 12 months have only served to reinforce the idea that some trends we are already observing in the hotel industry were and will be necessary to stay aligned with the reality of social needs. Perhaps what we are experiencing is just the future knocking at our door. Are we ready for it? It is not the strongest, as Charles Darwin has said, it is not the strongest of the species that survived, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change, will survive. So this is from me. Thank you very much, and sorry for the interruption in between. And over to the next panelist, please.
Thank you, Kuldeep, for your opening note. Really interesting to know what the new trends are and what we should actually keep a close note on. With that, I will pass the baton to Sunil Chopra, who will throw some light on the new era of travel agents and more. Over to you, Sunil.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Kuldeep, for that introductory bit at the start.
Yeah.
I think what we need to really get back to is brass tacks, what travel agents, what are they going to do, how are they going to manage, etc., etc. I think tourism's time for talk is over. With the new US borders reopening to the world travelers in November, other areas in Asia and Africa also gearing up to receive more tourists in spite of the vaccine inequity and uncertainty ahead. Global tourism seems to be turning the corner in spite of the pandemic. There is momentum, there's optimism on the rise, and like Kuldeep mentioned, there has to be a focus on caution, whatever we do. So now is the time when the industry shifts into living with the pandemic. The challenges for tourism really come very, very visibly up. Seeing the last 18 months that the travel agents have suffered, quite a few are shut down. That's the kind of situation that's developed, at least all over the world. There is a need to bring tourism back at least to the 2019 levels. But in the process of bringing it back into that, we should not forget the thoughts and processes of innovating the tourism chain that so many of us faced during the time of the pandemic in the last 18 months. We learned so much during the webinars going on. We need to look at implementing a lot of things that have come about. Of course, one thing is clear, that at the present moment, business travel is something which is impossible to forecast in the short term, because the pre-pandemic levels are pegged to return only around 2025. So, are we going to wait that long? What's going to happen? Interestingly, we still see suits at the airports again, but it's impossible to predict business traffic's return. Boeing, the airline company, has said that there's going to be a recovery of domestic travel in India in 22 in a big way. Inter-regional markets are expected to open up with probably a concern with health and travel restriction, rules being put in place. Internationally, probably 23 will be the year when most of the traffic really goes into a boom situation. And as Thomas said, revenge travel will be probably in place now by this year end. So we need to be prepared. So the question is, Is the travel agent prepared? How much has he learned in the last 18 months, etc., to see how he's going to manage the situation that is going to develop? I think one of the first things the agents need to do is to identify how they're going to present themselves as a level of confidence. So the agent has to create a confidence with his customers to bring them back in. They need to basically prepare or create something like an agent reassure program. Every single agent needs to do that if they want to survive, because there's going to be a huge add-on business that's going to come on. And the other situation that they will face is, do they have adequate quality staff? Now, we're not talking of staff only, but it's going to be quality staff, because you will have to manage more with less. So that situation is going to prevail. It's going to be a huge challenge to get people back into the trade, because a lot of them have left and moved away into other roles, other businesses. So quality staff is going to be key in the whole situation as numbers build up, and it's going to be fast. It's going to be geometric growth. Another situation that a travel agent needs to look at is, rather than only paying his staff, he needs to bring in a kind of a profit sharing concept with his quality staff, because you don't want fixed overheads to bog you down like it's happened in the past. You need to look forward and change the way you do business, change the complete dynamics of the business, cut the reduced cost, only have variable costings. Do you need offices? No, of course not. You don't need offices anymore. Go to sharing offices with like-minded agents and have a common backend. Think differently. Think what a lot of other companies have done. You know, they don't have offices. They've gone to sharing concepts. Look at transportation as a means of immediate business options. Now, what do you do in such a situation? You've got a huge chunk of customers that are going to come back to you and say, okay, I want my air tickets, but I can't pay you just now, or I need credit. That's the killer punch that you need to avoid. Do not accept giving credit to customers, or this will kill you. You've learned in the last 18 months that refunds were a killer. How many of you prepared for it? Everyone had their money, or rather skin in the game, so seriously that they almost got wiped out. Use the credit card of the customer. Learn the lessons. Most importantly, the agents need to share with each other what all are the good and the bad situations that they've felt. Treat the customers as friends. Share with them the situations and the lessons learned. Of course, like everyone says, go digital. Easy to say, difficult to implement. How are you going to implement it? Create a reassure brand for yourself. Bring the trust back. Continue it as you are. If you're a non-IATA, continue as a non-IATA. If you're IATA, continue as IATA. Increase your social media imprint. That is going to be key in the future, because everyone is so used to being online, and you need to be having your presence everywhere, because every agent will be there on the social media platform. So how will you be standing out differently? While you're looking at travel services only, why not upsell your other services? Look at other services that you can upsell to your customers. These last 18 months should have given you an understanding of what a lot of agents have done. They moved to general and life insurance opportunities. They moved to become brokers. They moved in dealing with brokers. They moved in as tax submission agents. They moved in with investment opportunities to their customers, just like you've got mutual funds and stuff in the market. They've become specialists in those areas and started dealing with their customers in that context. Remember, your customers have money. They know you. They trust you. So offer your services. Upsell. Keep upselling. This is the only way you'll be able to survive further. So in the short term, what are you looking to do? You're looking to manage. The packs will focus. Passengers all around you are going to be focusing on short destinations, in the sense, destinations which are in the 4, 5, 6 hour runs, which is already happening. You all know that everyone wants to drive down. Very few wanted to fly with the situation with the RT-PCR, etc. Now is the time when you need to work closely with local suppliers. People need houses, they need chalets, they need more Airbnb opportunities, people are a little skeptical. So you need to guide them as to what you need to do. You can also, if you're in a small town, you can become a supplier to the agents all over India. Get like-minded agents, work closely with them and create a cartel in that particular city and become a supplier to the rest of the agents all over the country, like some agents in Srinagar have done, and it's worked beautifully. Similarly, the concept of co-working spaces has always been around. This is your opportunity to look at getting a tourist to go and operate in cities and countries where it's really a vacation destination, but offer them co-working spaces. Find out co-working opportunities with companies that can offer packages in various places. These are opportunities you can't miss. I mean, because you have customers, there's a big chunk of customer out there that you can, connect with. The other situation is most agents don't realize that they're getting into high margin, high capital services business, and that is ticketing. This is where credit squeezes you and kills the agency. Today, the margins on ticketing is almost nil, negligible. GST has blocked margins. It's become very transparent. You can't do very much in that area. So is that you're going to be your key, or is that going to be your least margin opportunity? Because don't get bogged down in putting your money there. This calls for educating the customer. Make him understand why you need to do a ticketing and you need advance payment for it. Of course, business is not easy. It's going to be difficult. Take the example of how the hotels work. Before they let out the room, they take the credit card imprint and block the money. Do the same thing. Work with the consolidator and use the customer's credit cards. Just for the sake of getting business, don't kill yourself. I mean, this is a very key situation. What you make in 1 year's time can be lost in one transaction. So be careful. Don't lose that opportunity up ahead. Mid-size agents need to be aware of very key things, and that is in the digital world, IT services. You should not be using pirated software, because you do not know when a situation comes up and you lose all your data. Please maintain IT data integrity. Get only licensed software for yourself and for your agency. As we go forward, we have associations in the country that work with all the travel agents. There are quite a few associations in this country. Frankly, they can't help you very much in your business endeavor. That's something please be aware of. But they can help you in getting information. They can give you information on what's going on in the trade. And certain industry issues can be managed. Like, for example, the refund case that went to Supreme Court, that Taffy took it there. That helped almost every single agent in this country to get refunds. But there are selective things that they can do, whereas commercially, there's nothing that they can do to help you. So you need to manage yourself. Prepare for the unexpected rush. 70% of the agents in this country are individual players. So why should you create infrastructure for yourself? Don't create it. Communalize and backend services are the key in this. Of course, there are ways to manage the commercial aspect while you communalize the backend. Similarly, agencies operate on margins. So which is the smart way to look at things as we progress? We need to go to looking at cruises. We need to look at how we can look at creating a niche for ourselves. Most travel agents need to register themselves as tourism agents with the tourism ministry, because there are benefits that you will derive at a later point sometime soon. Similarly, register yourself as an MSME, focus on cruises and medical tourism. So these are key areas that you need to look at. There are many ways you can manage things. I think some of my colleagues will also shed some light as we progress on these discussions. But if you have questions, you can raise them after this discussions are coming to an end. I leave you with just one key thought, and that is, be careful. You have skin in the game. Don't put all your money in the business. Diversify. There are many ways you can do it. And good luck. I think that's one of the key things that you need to be aware of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunil, for this enlightening talk, especially for all travel agents who are really reeling under the pressures of the pandemic and the lockdown. One of the key takeaways for me was co-working spaces, manage your costs, look at innovative ways, register as an MSME besides others. At this point in time, I would like to request everyone, if you have questions, to please put them on the chat box, and we will give you a chance to speak up depending on time. Without any further ado, I will pass the baton to Sanjay Rao, who is our MDO come aviation consultant, expert, a veteran of over 40 years. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thanks, Thomas. Oh, this pandemic has shocked everybody, shook everybody, and nobody knew what was happening. Travel agents started selling sanitizers. Some started selling N95 masks. In other words, they knew that I have to survive. I have to do some other business to survive. Yes, it was a good thing that they are innovative. They immediately took over and did that. But now things are changing. Travel has started. In fact, they call it as a revenge travel. Like revenge tourism. People want to go, get out of their house, go out. Okay, people also have money to buy. What is important in this such a situation is that the way of doing business has changed. Don't expect Mohammed to go to the mountain. Mountain has to come to Mohammed. In other words, you have to contact the traveler. The traveler will not come to you. We all complain that passengers, today the traveler goes onto the website to buy tickets. There are ways and means of making him come to your office to buy tickets. Today, let us say you go to a mall to buy any item in a big shop. The first question he asks, have you registered? Give me your mobile number. And then from day 2 onwards, he starts bombarding you with SMS messages. Similarly, if you go online to buy products, let us say you go online to Big Bazaar or you go any Reliance Retail or any such portal, the first thing then from day 2 onwards, they start bombarding you, sending you emails after emails. Why don't the travel agents do? They have the database of their clients. They have the data. They know where they are traveling, what they did, everything they do. Why don't they use that? Okay. The second thing is that what they need to do is that they need to increase their contact base. It is not that people are only traveling to metro cities and all. They are traveling to tier 2, tier 3 cities, or you can say tier 4 cities also. So they need to have a contact base in each of these places, basically to help their local needs of the traveler. That is very important that they need to do. If you go to a travel agent and say, oh, hey, I want to go on a vacation. Okay, fine. Without knowing the needs of whatever he is required, you give him a list of, okay, 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel, 3-star hotel, all those things. If he's only going to stay there only for sleeping and then in the morning again he's out, why don't you look at the option of giving him the Airbnb as what Sunil said? It's a very good option, a win-win situation, even for the customer. For him, you need to just help him. There are people who are retired senior citizens. They don't know how to go about doing it. They are really helpless. You have that opportunity. He will come to your office to buy the ticket. He will help him out and give him the Airbnb. In the whole transaction of his travel, if you are making some money or if you charge him a service fee, he is willing to pay you for that. Another important thing which you want, try and promote offline travel. Everybody travel. We all know that, oh, this is a peak time travel. This is the time when people are traveling. You need to promote and tell them, lure them into travel into an off-season, during the off-season period. He will surely like it. There are many places where you can go. The other good thing, marketing approach is that, yes, we have various types of tourism. You have medical tourism, this tourism, that tourism, various. You need to develop your own tourism, a different thing, something unique from what is happening worldwide. Like example, dark tourism. This is something which is very interesting, something culinary tourism or a rural tourism where people would like to go and stay with somebody. You need to promote that. You need to have contact base. You need to have people. You need to make arrangements for those things where people can go and stay. Travelers will like to stay with others, learn how they cook, learn how they live. That is very important. What I would like to tell you is that the new mantra of travel has to be you need to meet the travelers' expectations. That is very important. That's the most important thing now, especially after the pandemic is over. Once it comes back and once this travel is over, you need to send him a small survey just to find out how his travel was, what was there, was anything else the agent could have done, the travel company could have done. And what is most important is that most of the travelers, there is a problem. The moment they do a booking, the tension starts. How will I go to the airport? How will I come back from the airport? How will I get to my destination point? How will I reach my final destination where I'm supposed to go? And let me tell you, that is the most difficult thing. The travel agent has to understand these concerns. And this is something, I don't know whether the travel companies know about this or not, but yes, this is a big problem. And if they can help the traveler, nothing like it. Yes, there are ways and means to help him out with his local transportation. And they need to look at it. Yes, if they need any suggestions of what they need, I'm free to give. Thank you. Thanks, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay, for your kind words. Over to Ritam Saha for his spiel on the new opportunities.
Yep. Thanks, Thomas. Warm welcome. A very good afternoon to all. I'm supposed to speak on the airline industry, the current and the upcoming trends pre and post COVID. So let's probably spend a few minutes on understanding as to what is the current situation like. I think we all know that the current situation is that there are certain countries, there are certain borders which are opening up for fully vaccinated travelers. India continues to be on the air bubble agreement with about 28 nations globally. That is continuing. Another trend that probably what is forecasted is that airlines world over will lose about 75 to 95 billion in the year 2021. That's a consolidated number for airlines world over. In terms of numbers for Indian carriers, CAPA projects a total loss of about $8 billion for 2 years combined, 2021 and 2022. And these will primarily be contributed by the national carrier and the biggest low cost airline in India. 50% of 8 billion, which is about 4 billion, would be contributed only by these two airlines. The third scenario, which continues to be in place, is that the air turbine fuel prices is projected to be about $70 to $75 per barrel. I think this is a critical cost component simply because of the fact that we all know that roughly about 30% of the total operating costs are contributed by ATF only. So this important cost element is critical for any airline business. So given this scenario, where are we headed? What is the future ahead of us? How does it look like? Is there light at the end of the tunnel? I think yes, there is. India, fortunately, is a country which has a vibrant and a large domestic market. Not many countries in the world do have a domestic markets, for example, aviation markets, which are far more robust and large than probably India, they lack domestic volumes. Countries, for example, like UAE, Singapore, they don't have a domestic market. India is lucky to have a robust domestic market. Pre-COVID, just to share a few numbers, India was doing about 400,000 domestic passengers a day, which was fantastic. Right now, we have already touched about 50% plus of that particular number, so we are doing somewhere around 200,000 plus passengers a day. What is projected for the next year, which is 2022, is close to 300,000. So 300,000 as compared to 400,000 pre-COVID is what we see as a domestic passenger trend. International, we were doing somewhere around 75 million passengers annually, which boils down to about 200,000 passengers a day. International pre-COVID. That is a little bit challenging to achieve, given the scenario that we still continue to be under the air bubble agreement, and it seems that it should continue for a while now. Nobody actually can predict when it is supposed to get over, but I think it's here for the time being. What is the number of aircraft that which is flying on Indian skies, which were flying on Indian skies pre-COVID, was about 600 aircrafts daily. There are about 1,000 plus aircrafts on order, so that is definitely promising. What is critical for the airline business is, and I think IATA is currently advocating this particular initiative, that to bring ATF under the GST framework. I think that would be of major importance to the industry, and it definitely would be a game changer. I think we have been hearing some talks already at the ministry level, with no proper outcome right at the moment, but I think going forward there should be. We also feel that given the current condition of various airlines, the kind of cash that airlines are forecasted to burn, I think CAPA has already advocated this at various levels, and so does different organizations with the Ministry of Civil Aviation, that the entry barrier needs to be probably more stringent for an Indian airline to start business. So currently it's about INR 500 million, which is roughly about 50 crores as the paid up capital to start the business. I think this, if goes up, only ensures that we approach a more robust business scenario where it becomes absolutely necessary and important for airlines to survive. So this, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is roughly and in brief as to what we are headed towards. Cargo or freight is an important aspect in the airline business as well. What we see is that the current cargo numbers are doing great. We forecast that probably the 2021 numbers should end up to the double of the pre-COVID numbers. So that's something which is encouraging and definitely should contribute to the growth that the airline industry is looking forward to. So this, in short, was my key takeaways on what the scenario lies ahead of us. Thank you. I'll be more than happy to take any questions if somebody might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritam, for your speech on the airline, domestic as well as international business. With this, we end the session on the speaker's end. I would request each of you to please post your questions on the chat box while we continue, and we hope to answer a few from everybody else. With that, I will start with one question from the chat box, which is addressed to Ritam. which says, could you please highlight the developments of IATA travel pass implementation and usage of the same with challenges involved? This is from Sunil Acharya.
Okay, IATA Travel Pass, as we know that the app has already been accepted by various airlines across the globe. We've seen success in Singapore. We've seen success in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, somewhere in the Gulf region. It has traveled to India as well. One of the carriers have already started using and making IATA Travel Pass mandatory. If I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. It's not mandatory, but I think the usage has already started. What lies ahead of us in terms of the IATA Travel Pass? It's basically one identity system facilitating travel all across, right from the creation of your PNR, your vaccination status, the thematic in place. So thematic basically is, as we all know, the entry and exit regulations of various countries, and of course the airline to check. All that put together in one single app is what is IATA Travel Pass. India, as I said, is already one airline has already adopted, and I think a few more to come online.
Great, thank you. The next question we have again is, do you know how many contracts, airport contracts, have been awarded to Adani?
No, I don't have the number offhand. No.
Okay. I will ask a question to Sunil Chopra here. As you were talking about travel agent survivability, would it be difficult to find staff in this pickup phase? And if so, what would a business owner, like you mentioned, 70% of travel agents are single owners? How do you think they would be able to cope with this surge in demand if everything goes well?
Like I mentioned in the same context, is that if you have quality staff and you can work with bringing them in as equity partners or profit partners or something similar to that, whatever works for each one. That is one option to look at, getting quality staff in and keeping them with you, because you lose them so fast you won't even know what happened, because people are offering better salaries to pull them away. So what better than making them equity partner at 5% or something similar. One option is that. The other one is that large number of agents, similar-minded agents, can participate and become a group. Say about 5, 6, 7, 8 agents. These are things that have already happened in the industry. We helped set up something in Chennai, and Chennai has got a group of agents that have participated, got together, and created a common backend. So commercially and sales-wise, the front end continues to be individual agents' names, but the backend service is common to those 7 agents that are participating. So what you're doing really is you're cutting your fixed cost down to bare minimum. So you only have a variable cost, and that backend center charges you based on the amount of business service that you allocate from them. So this is something that works beautifully in terms of individual agents, because it's a one-man show or a two-man show. There's no sense in trying to create an infrastructure network for themselves. That way, you will overcome the staff issue also.
Sure. Thank you, Sunil. Next question would be to Sanjay. In your speech, you said, if Mohammed cannot come to you, you go to Mohammed for that. And for that, I wanted to ask you, what other schemes or innovative schemes can you probably share with the group here in terms of ground transportation or other allied services?
See, today the travel agents all have tie-up with car rental companies, and their scheme is 8 hours, 80 kilometers, 4 hours, 40 kilometers, something of that sort. But that doesn't help a normal traveler. He requires a transportation to go from his house to the airport back home. You don't expect him to pay for 40 kilometers just when the distance is hardly 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers. You know very well today, people are a little reluctant to go to the airport for various reasons. They have their own issues. Uber has its own issues. But let me just tell you one thing. I just spoke to those Uber people. They have something like, if you own a vehicle and you are registered with Uber, you get 40% and Uber takes 70%, 60%. But if you don't own a vehicle, you hire a Uber vehicle, then you get 30% of the fare, what amount the passenger pays, and Uber retains 70%. That's the reason why sometimes they feel that the distance is too small or the money they are going to get is too less and they refuse to come. Okay, if a travel agent is ready to help the traveler with this local transportation, and even if he charges 10% more than what a car rental company said, because he's just going from his house to the airport, okay, and help out that passenger, believe me, that passenger will not go onto the website and do a booking on the, especially for a domestic traveler, but he will come to the travel agent to do the booking, because that's the place where he's also going to get a hotel, get a help of assistance of a car to take him to the airport. Today you have cab drivers asking you, is this your regular travel? Fine, then I'll do one thing. I will give you a package deal. Okay, every day you pay me this X amount and I'll drop you to every day to the office or wherever he wants to go. If that is similarly, if you have a tie-up, if a travel agent has a tie-up with a local taxi or a such transportation, that's excellent. You know, it will help it will help the travelers. And most importantly, people will not go onto the website and do the booking, because there you don't get the cab service, but here you will get it from your local travel agent.
Great. The next question I have is a question for Ritam. It's about with the with UK creating waves about the credibility of our vaccination certificates. Can IATA help the Indian government? Yes. You're on mute. You're on mute, Ritam.
Yeah, sorry. I don't think, my personal take is that IATA does such advocacy initiatives across the globe, not only in India, but with other countries, other governments. But to answer this question specifically, I don't think that this probably is the right forum, and probably I might not be the right person to pick up an answer for this question. Yeah, that's my take. Thank you.
Sure. If anybody has any questions, they can raise their hand and we can ask them to unmute. We did have some comments for all the speakers. They were all well appreciated. Sanjay, Sunil, Kuldeep, and Ritam as well. Sanjeev, I can see you. Are you? No? All right. So I guess, does anybody have
Thomas,
any...
actually.
Yes, go
Sorry,
ahead, Sanjeev.
Thomas, I was just taking the walking tour we are having today from the club.
Oh, great.
So I'm listening to you as well as my guide. So all the best to you, Mumbai club, and all our colleagues in Bombay. Best wishes.
Thank you so much. I have a question from Ishwar. He says, suppose I wish to apply for IATA pass for one packs, what steps should I take?
You don't need to apply for it. All that the passenger has to do is download IATA Travel Pass app from a Play Store and start following the instructions. It's a very basic and a very easy to maneuver app. All the passenger, as I said, all the passenger needs to do is just download the app and keep following the instructions. It will ask for your vaccination certificate. There are certain labs which are already registered, or you can go to uploading the vaccination certificate and move ahead with it. You being a travel partner or a travel service provider can just guide him or her across, but it's a very easy to maneuver app, so the passenger can do it himself.
Thank you, Ritam. I have a question from Rakesh Marat. You can unmute, please, and speak.
Yeah, hi, Ritam. I just wanted to get clarity. Is the IATA app correlated to all the government's app? Like for UK, you need a My Locator form, and for Canada, you need ArriveCan app, and for every country has a different app. So does this get correlated to all the apps, or they need to do separate registrations on those as well?
No, Rakesh. All you need to do is, once you have the app loaded on your phone, you need to follow for the entry requirements. The thematic will give you the information. So you don't need specific and separate country-wide information or registrations to happen. So if I am the passenger and I have ITP loaded on my mobile, and let's say I'm traveling to the UK, once I've uploaded my vaccination certificate and my PNR and everything is already there on the app, all I need to do is, check the thematic and check the entry requirements. I don't need any special through the app. But if there are specific registrations to be done specifically for UK or Canada, that needs to be done through that country or that particular government website. Travel Pass does not facilitate that.
So so then the travel pass becomes redundant, right? Because in any case, if a guy doesn't fill up the My Travel Pass, but he lands in UK by using the My Locator app, he still gets entry. Then this is duplication of work, right?
No, what I'm trying to say is that if that particular country accepts IATA Travel Pass and it is related, then obviously there are, as I said, there are countries where IATA Travel Pass is already accepted. Like say, for example, Singapore. Any passenger traveling between India and Singapore, there is no separate registration to be done other than the IATA Travel Pass.
Okay, so right now Singapore is not open to India. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the major travel right now is going to happen to UK and Europe, and once US opens, then US and Canada. So
yeah,
I think Singapore is going to come in.
So eventually it will happen. Eventually it will happen. Yeah.
So that's the reason I said, because it has to be coordinated with all the countries to ensure there is one pass for every country. Otherwise,
that's right.
It will become too much. As it is, traveler is going crazy with the RT-PCRs that he's doing. Imagine to go to Dubai, he's doing 5 RT-PCRs. So we have to make his life easier. We are making his life tougher. So to promote tourism, we need to make his life easier. So that's the reason I was asking. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
We have a question here from Manas Sengupta, who says, would IATA's TIDS be helpful for a travel agency with recognition by airlines?
It definitely does. TIDS currently is free of cost, so that's a major USP. It definitely is a designator world over. It's definitely a form of identification. There are many hotels, car rental companies, airlines who do recognize TIDS members. And as I said, it's currently free of cost. So the right time to go for it, actually.
Yes, we have a few more hands here. Julie?
Yes, hi. So I have a friend who's currently traveling to Switzerland. Now, apparently the local norms say that every 2 days they have to get an RT-PCR test done locally. So how is it that we can ease the travelers' hassle, while they're traveling? See, these are things that we don't even know, we aren't aware about when the traveler is traveling from here. But when they get off at their destinations, then these are issues that crop up. So is there a way that we can tackle these issues beforehand, keep them informed, have them mentally prepared?
The best way to do is follow thematic. Thematic gives you updated information on the entry requirements. But I myself, I'm not aware of that this new rule that you mentioned, that every 2 days that one needs to.
No, that has been withdrawn. That has been withdrawn till October 10th.
Okay, because they're currently doing that over there actually.
No, my guests are there. They are going to restaurants. There's
Okay.
no problem.
Okay.
They withdrew that. There is a certificate which the this tourism board issued, and they carry that till 10th of October. It's been waived. You can ask Ruxen. She'll guide you.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. I guess we have come to the end of the show. It's exactly 4 o'clock, and we had planned this to be a 45-minute to 1 hour event. Like I said, this was just to give a bit of a flavor with us commemorating World Tourism Day on Monday. We thought we should all catch up, understand what the challenges are, share best practices, and look for ways forward. I'm sure Sanjay, Sunil, as well as Ritham have shared some of the perspectives of the times ahead, the challenges, and what we should do as a community to stay and grow sustainably. With that, I would like to thank each of you for spending this time with us, and we will share more information about our future webinars with you all. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, Kuldeep. All the best. Safe journey.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.